I just had enough. I can't keep watching my weight skyrocket this way. Hello, it's Daisy. Thank you for clicking on this video. Today is going to be a new update within my 60-pound weight loss journey. And a big part of this weight loss journey also involves healing mentally, not only just physically. I was diagnosed with complex post-traumatic stress disorder back in 2020, and I have 25 years of trauma to heal, and I'm only 30. Yay. I also was diagnosed with binge eating disorder, which has greatly impacted my weight. When I was younger, I was an addict, and then when I was a teenager, my dad forced my brother and I to do Atkins as kids that weren't fully grown yet, and that led into disordered eating. So 2 kids later, and I'm out of an abusive situation completely. Now that I'm no longer an emotional drinker, I became a heavy emotional eater, and that's what led to binge eating disorder. And I think probably all along I've kind of had it, because when I was eating a lot in secrecy when I was younger, but that definitely falls in line with a lot of disordered eating. So now that I'm rambling, let's get on with it. I wanted to make a video last month. I did create the content, never submitted it. Things have been just progressing so quickly. Like, I pray to all the gods for just a calm, quiet, boring week. Like, really. I got 2 boys. One of them is 3, and he's in Head Start, the same Head Start I work at. My older son, he's 10 now, and he's officially diagnosed with ADHD. We're working on an autism assessment. Quite a few things going on, especially sensory-wise, which does fall in line with ADHD, but just like, yes. Anyway, stay on topic, because I could just kind of ramble on a tangent forever. Where was I? I think I need a cup of coffee. I mean, coffee is going to take too long to make right now, so my fiance brought home 2 of these for me. Never tried them yet, so I don't really drink energy drinks too frequently, but this only has 160 milligrams of caffeine. Like, that's really not a lot compared to most energy drinks have 300. So, skull. Yeah, I can dig that. Anyway, so I was gonna submit my last video, but then I had a revelation while I was making it, and kind of wanted to wait, because it's like, well, maybe I'll add another part to it, cut something out, or just redo it all together. And here I am now, nearly 2 months later, and I think I finally reached a turning point. Like, eureka! Just don't know what happened, but I was talking, and sometimes doing this kind of helps things process. I've been doing EMDR for my complex PTSD since November. EMDR is eye movement desensitization reprogramming, and it helps my brain actually process the trauma that has happened and let it go and let it flow and kind of just get chill. So now that it's been November, December, January, February, March, April, May, almost 6 months, I'm really starting to see a difference. Granted, have I lost any weight in 2023? Absolutely not. But we're getting there, starting to figure things out, you know? So, when I met with my dietitian last time, back in March, dietitian. She recommended at school that she recommended that I eliminate grains.
Cheese.
Yeah, they are cheese.
No.
Did you not want the cheese ones?
No.
Snack time. No, do not dump it. No. Oh, boy. I just dumped the whole bag of goldfish into the garbage. It's little snack pack ones, but they weren't the ones you wanted. Oh, boy. So, she recommended that I eliminate grains, and I did that for a little bit in March, and it was better, but I was just going home starving, and I was desperately afraid that was going to trigger a binge eating event, and it did at one point. And I'm like, I can't do this. I'm not going to starve all school day for 8 hours on 400 calories, go home and devour everything I see in sight. And I usually go to the easiest things first, as most people will in those situations. Like, I am not going to take the time to cook a piece of chicken. I'm going to eat that chocolate and all of it in one go. Like, and that's exactly what happened. And that was a problem. So I had to do something different. So I went back, talked with my dietitian again, and this time she recommended getting more protein before going to school. If I can have boiled eggs or a protein shake. So I started doing protein shakes, and I had protein shakes sitting at the table with the Head Start kids in breakfast. So I started doing that. I would eat fresh fruit only, whole protein, and that's it. And I'm like, okay, that helps, but now I don't know what to do for lunch. So I'm doing the protein shake thing for a couple weeks, and that's when I recorded a new video, and it dawned on me. I am letting the school cook bully me. So that's when I paused my video that I was recording, and I decided to try to bring my own lunch to school and not eat what's provided by Head Start. Granted, they're limited in what they can do. However, I understand. It's like, I'm not going to go to Subway, slap my sandwich down on the table, and eat that in front of the kids. That's obviously unfair and not a cool thing to do. But I thought, I am going to bring in my own food, and I can eat not around the kids. And the easiest time was before lunch while they're outside. So I started doing that for most of April. I just had enough. I can't keep watching my weight skyrocket this way. I was at 186 when I started the school year. I am at my highest at this point now was 195. I gained and maintained an 11-pound weight gain. And that's not what I wanted to happen. I thought, me eating whatever I want in moderation, sticking to my calorie goal, which for the most part, I am able to stay under 1,800 calories. There are some days, once in a great while, I do get into the 2,000 calorie range, and that's okay. But for the most part, compared to last year, I am staying under 1,800 calories. I work out at a minimum of 1 day a week, and I am still not having weight loss. Obviously, it's not the calories here, because I got that under control. My BMR is at 1550, and I stay above that. Only a few times have I been below that. And I did have a weight loss the next day, but that's not sustainable long term. So here we are. I got some kickback about it, but I've been doing it and it's been working. So I went from 195 and now I'm back down to 190, 191 depending on the day. With exercise, I've noticed with weightlifting, my weight is a little higher the next day, but that goes back down. And that's the trend I want to see. I want to see it go down and I want it to stay away. So that's the goal here, right? So a big part of this has been me advocating for what I really need. I was getting the gluten face. My face was so freaking swollen. I had all those red dots all over my arms. My skin was just red, itchy, and blotchy, and the acne was really flaring up. Now, I still do have some acne, but it was just getting really bad, and the digestive issues were pretty significant. Now, I haven't completely eliminated gluten out of my diet, and when I was younger, I did have a gluten sensitivity. However, I didn't anticipate the sensitivity to be directly related to ADHD, and that's a pretty true statement. Like, you're just sensitive about everything, food included. And it's been a good feeling, to, after 25 years of trauma, to actually be able to be like, you know what? No, I can't eat this food. I can't eat the same way you do. I can't eat the same way these kids are. I just have certain dietary limitations. I'm trying to heal my binge eating disorder. I am trying to heal my gut. I'm trying to heal myself. I can't eat these things. I have to eat differently if I want to see results. I've maintained an 11-pound weight gain. Granted, I didn't say word for word everything here that I said to the teacher, but I did explain to her, I can't eat this. There's no way. and I can't eat minimally and go home starving and trigger a binge. Like, she does know that I do have binge eating disorder and I do have trauma. And, some exceptions have been made. If I'm having a trauma-versary, as I've called them, like days that are directly linked to a traumatic event, that it's like I just can't function. I can't be at school. Like, I did it once and I was in the back room crying. So it's just not something I can manage. And then sometime in mid-April, I placed an order for noise-canceling headphones for my son. He came to school with us, and the noise was just really bothering him. And so I decided to put on the noise-canceling headphones on him that we use for the kids when noise is just too much, and he really liked them. He was able to kind of lay there with the heavy blanket, and it's a really heavy blanket too. It's like, it must be 10 pounds.
Look at me cold.
Okay, you can give it to Puppy.
Okay.
So I decided to order him a pair for school and home. And I also ordered myself some noise-canceling
Puppy go.
She might be sleeping on my bed. So I ordered myself some Loop Quiet noise-canceling earplugs. The cook thought they were earbuds, like I was listening to music at work. No, girl, I'm just trying to survive. So yeah, these have been a stress saver tremendously with school, and the experience kind of made me realize that I always complain about it when, even at home, when things are going in the chaos direction, we go from chaotic good to chaotic evil real quick sometimes, and the noise is always the one thing that just makes my head spin. And it just seems like everything is just through a megaphone. And that's how it is at the school, like just during the day. There's 18 kids between the ages of 3 and 5. And so it gets really loud, especially when you incorporate the noise of toys, yelling, voices, and crying and screaming and playing. And just teachers talking and teachers trying to talk over the kids. And it's just... So I started wearing these at work, and I come home less stressed, less triggered, so to speak. And before that, it was just like I'd just be a puddle on the ground. Like, I just come home, sit on the couch, and that's it. KO. I'm done. Like, just not moving. And it's not like I'm watching TV. I'm just there, not doing anything. Like, it's not helpful, and it's just not conducive to a healthy life. So these have helped with that quite a bit. I was surprised at how much they cancel. And these are like 27 decibel. These are the ones that cancel out the most. So that's pretty significant. What are you doing?
What is this?
So, yeah. And that led me to finally being able to complete my son's ADHD assessment, which came back as yes. And we got him on medication, and then talking about it with my therapist, she suggested I do an ADHD assessment also. And since I was diagnosed with ADD when I was a kid back in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, and back, there was a certain time period where ADD crossed over into ADHD, and they were basically the same freaking thing. And then somewhere along the way, ADHD had its own separate assessment. So that's where we're at. And so I did the thing, and I did it alongside my fiance, and he wrote his answers on a separate sheet of paper, and I did the assessment part, and I was stunned. The answers came in the form of 0, being no, never, not at all, to 4, always, constant, blah, blah, blah. And he had 20 no, nevers, not at alls. I had 2. One of those no's, nevers, and not at alls was about doing a task mindlessly. I never do a task mindlessly. My brain is always going. And the biggest example I have of this, and this was pre-ADHD assessment, so yes, I do have adult ADHD. And I didn't know this until I talked on the phone with my dad, but apparently when I was 12, I was supposed to be put on Ritalin. I never knew that. That information was not given to me. I never thought to ask either, but because of this ADHD assessment, my dad's like, yeah, you were supposed to be put on Ritalin when you were 12. And where was this information being kept? Why wasn't I told sooner? So there was that. So the biggest example I have of this before ADHD assessment and the diagnoses and all that was I was at work on a day where there were no students. It was just an extra day. Normally we run Monday through Thursday, so I was there on a Friday. And I was setting up paper for the kids to be able to draw, make paper airplanes, blah, blah, blah. And we have computer paper, like old school 80s computer paper, a big box of it. And I was ripping off all these circles. I'd like take a stack, fold the perforated edges, and peel them off. And while I'm doing this task, I am thinking about other things to do. What's going to happen later? What's going to happen next week? Just the music I'm listening to. So I decided to change my song. And I'm thinking about sending my dad a text. And you get the gist. Like, I'm doing this task thinking, not just mindless. I tell my fiance, we were just talking, and I bring up this example, and I asked him, what would you do? And he literally said, just think about the task. How does one do that? What's your secret? Like, I don't know how to do that. I'm doing the dishes, listening to the song, or like thinking about other things, not just, oh yes, washing this plate, how great this is. Yes, let's go to the cups. Like, my brain don't work like that. So the figuring out that I have ADHD makes so much sense about everything in life. Like, my entire existence now suddenly has an explanation for why it is the way it is. And really thinking about it, being diagnosed but not going on medication right away gives me the opportunity to see how it is affecting my life in the daily. And this helps me see the difference when I do begin medication. There's kind of like a hiccup with my insurance and blah, blah, blah. So we're getting there. But I've formulated kind of a list of how unmanaged adult ADHD, mind you, has affected my life. And it's been kind of an eye-opener. The biggest one I would say right now, and if I had to pick top threes, these would be my top threes. Trust me, there is more, but I'm not going to go into all the nitty-gritty details. But the first one would have to be consistency. Consistency. What is consistency? I have no clue. I wish I could tell you, because I don't know. The only thing I'm consistent about is not being consistent. So, this looks like, I begin an exercise program, I'm motivated, I really want to do the thing, and I do the thing for maybe 3, 4, 5 days, and then I'm done. That's it. My consistency is over. It ran its course. Another thing would have to be the all or nothing approach. I am always exercising, or I'm never exercising. I am always eating clean, or if I'm not, then I am definitely not exercising, because what's the freaking point? I ate a huge ass chocolate bar. Why the heck would I go and work out? It's not going to make much of a difference. Reality is it actually probably would. It'd make more difference than I think, but the deed has been done. There's no turning back. And it's really hard for me to incorporate new information into previously utilized information. And this is mostly like workouts. My biggest example, the treadmill. We got a treadmill back in March because winter just never ends out where we live. It just doesn't. It's still kind of sort of winter, and it's late April. Yeah, winter hasn't gotten the memo that it's actually springtime now, and it needs to fuck off. So we get a treadmill. I walk on that thing 30 to 45 minutes every single day for about 5 days and then quit. I don't know why. 5, it just seems to be my magic number, and I'm done. But I think any normal person, neurotypical person, because apparently I'm considered neurodivergent, any neurotypical person would incorporate a treadmill into what they're already doing. I am either always on the treadmill or not. I'm either always using weights or not. But it's been really hard for me to kind of, yin-yang the two and just have it be a tool in my tool belt of exercise. I mean, let's think about it. I have a treadmill, boxing stuff, weights, and resistance bands, but I cannot seem to incorporate those 4 things together. So I'm trying here. So the one thing I am doing is I'm just minimally at least stepping on the thing and walking a little bit. And so far I am like 5 minutes seems to be a good starting point right now. And with ADHD, you kind of need things to be touch based. I touch the dishes 1 time a day. I touch the laundry 1 time a day. Sometimes more if it's a day off and I'm really dedicated. I touch the treadmill 1 time a day. I touch my journal 1 time a day. So that's just the touch-based things. It's like, okay, I am doing something with this at least once for the day. So, yeah, I hope that makes sense. So I think those are the top 3 things that make my weight loss journey really complicated at this moment. Will it stay the same now that I have this information? Probably not. One interesting thing is that with ADHD does come binge eat. Not necessarily binge eating disorder, but binging like activities with food, because it's that impulsiveness and then you kind of space how much you've actually eaten. So I'll have an entire huge bag of fun-sized Reese's and I will just keep snacking on them until the bag is empty, and I'm reaching in like, where's another one? And I turn it upside down and it's empty. Where did it all go? And then I look at the murderous pile of wrappers surrounding me, wondering, what the heck happened? I was just playing Elder Scrolls Online. Did not realize I devoured an entire bag of Reese's. And this is a true story. It's really sad. So it's not like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain that other than that. Point in case, caffeine's another great example of this. Touch base. I can only touch coffee, my coffee cup, twice. Not literally pick up, put down, but refill it twice. So I'm touching the coffee carafe, pouring coffee in twice, and then I'm done. Granted, instead of making another pot of coffee, I'm drinking this energy drink, but there's only 160 milligrams of caffeine, and that's actually really nice. So it's not like 300 like most of them, and I probably won't even finish that. I probably shouldn't, because it's no wonder I have sleep issues. And to some degree, I've noticed that, like, to a degree, I don't actually get that energizing boost from caffeine like some people do. I feel like I become more spacey instead. So I've kind of delayed when I drink coffee. And this is not an Andrew Huberman thing. This is just a me thing, because I stopped drinking coffee at school. I didn't want to be in the kitchen any longer than I needed to be. And I hate drinking cold coffee, and I hate drinking coffee without heavy whipping cream. So I'm like, you know what? I'll just drink coffee when I go home. There's no point. And then I get to drink coffee with my fiance because he wakes up when I get done with work, because he works overnights, because he's a psychopath. And so I get to drink coffee with him. And that to me is more enjoyable than listening to screaming memes trying to suck down a cup of coffee without heavy whipping cream. It's not enjoyable. Like, it's not an enjoyable experience. I wanted a coffee to be an enjoyable experience. So that's where I'm at with that. But on the flip side, so now that I know that, I feel like this is like kind of like the last key component into why I struggle with my weight loss. It's been 4 years. I committed myself to this weight loss journey after my toddler son was born. That was in 2019. And instead of losing weight, I've gained weight, and I've maintained that gained weight. I did get down into the upper 160s at one point doing carnivore, but that was not sustainable. And it's not something I'm willing to go back to either. Just not at this point in time. So knowing that I struggled with a thyroid issue, which I somehow reversed, between keto, fasting, and carnivore, I managed to get my thyroid back to normal, and I'm assuming my thyroid issue was postpartum. I survived my knee osteoarthritis and 2 herniated discs and degenerative spinal stenosis in my back, which with an updated MRI still shows I still have slightly herniated discs, but not significant as they were the first time around back in 2021. That was 2 years ago. Both my knee and my back are mostly in remission. I do get flare-ups, but I now know what to do, and I have exercises to manage it. I have binge eating disorder, complex PTSD. So now let's just add on to the mix of all this and just ADHD on top of it. But it does explain away some of the other things, and at least it gives me just something to understand myself with and be able to work with. Do I plan on going on medication? Abso-freaking-lutely. I would love to know what it's like to think clearly and be able to just stay focused on one thing at a time. If it helps, it helps. If it doesn't, and I decide to take a different route with it, that's entirely my choice. So yeah. this has been a definite update in what's been going on and how I've been handling this, because it's been very, very, very frustrating to me that it's like, I am doing the things a normal person would do. Why am I not getting results? This kind of explains it, and seeing where I'm struggling and understanding now why I am struggling helps me, you know, and especially with consistency. Like I said, I touch the treadmill 1 time a day. You know, as long as I step on the thing, turn it on, and record it with Samsung Health, I have done my job, and that helps. It really does. I've actually managed to do an entire cycle worth of laundry, and that's not done because I decided to do this instead. So baby steps, right? So, I mean, who knows what will happen by the time I'm actually able and ready to record another video. And I mean, just my recording schedule, or lack of one, just kind of proves my point. I have no consistency. It's very complicated. And there's no really, everything, it seems like it's too difficult to do the thing. You know, it's like, oh, you know, I could edit this video and submit it and then make a new one with a new update. That's going to take too much time and effort. I'll just wait. I'll do it later. And I never do it. But yeah. So that's it for today. Hopefully I will have more weight loss in my next video when I kind of commit to this. I mean, I've been pretty motivated right now, at least, to maintain walking on the treadmill at least 5 minutes, and then I do stretching afterwards. And with Samsung Health, I picked a program, posture improvement of all. So I'm going through that, and that's at least 15 minutes of exercise a day. And it's not strenuous, it's not hard, it's a lot of stretching. And so far it's been maintainable. We'll see what happens in half a month. We're in a waxing moon. It's an energizing time. For now. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.